Imagine a tiny, injured creature, close to death, finding a second chance. This video isn't just about saving animals. It's about the extraordinary humans who dedicate their lives to mending broken wings, healing fractured hearts, and releasing them back into the wild. Prepare for an emotional journey that will change how you see compassion. In a forgotten alleyway among piles of garbage, rescuers heard a faint whimper. Digging through broken boxes and torn plastic bags, they found a tiny puppy, its ribs sticking out, barely clinging to life. Most people would have walked away, but not these rescuers. They lifted the fragile body gently, wrapped it in a warm blanket, and carried it to safety. Day by day, with food, medicine, and endless patience, the puppy began to heal. Weeks later, its tail wagged again for the first time. And here's the lesson. Sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness to turn despair into hope. Not every rescue is dramatic. Some are quiet, delicate. A little sparrow once fell from a tree, wings fractured. A rescuer carried it in their hands like the most precious jewel. With splints and gentle care, the sparrow slowly regained strength. When the day came, the rescuer opened their hands, and the sparrow flew into the sky. That moment, wings beating against the wind, was not just freedom. It was a reminder, no creature is too small to matter. Deep in Asia, an elephant spent years chained to a post, forced to work, beaten when it resisted. Rescuers fought legal battles, risked threats, and finally won the right to free it. When the chains came off, the elephant hesitated. Could freedom be real? But then, slowly, it stepped forward, ears flapping, eyes glistening with something close to joy. And here's the truth. Freedom is not just about breaking chains. It's about restoring dignity to animals and to ourselves. High in the mountains, a majestic eagle was caught in a wire snare, wings bleeding. Rescuers climbed for hours, battling steep cliffs until they reached the bird. Gently, they cut the trap. After weeks of healing, the eagle stretched its wings again. On release day, it soared into the sky, circling once before vanishing into clouds. And in that moment, every drop of sweat, every scar on the rescuer's hands was worth it. Because when we fight for others, we discover our own strength. Off the coast of Florida, a dolphin was tangled in fishing line, flesh torn by every kick. Time was running out. Rescuers dove in, speaking soft clicks, mimicking dolphin sounds to calm it. Patiently, they cut the rope. The dolphin swam free, then leapt high into the air, twisting as if to say thank you. That leap wasn't just joy. It was proof that compassion creates trust, even across species. And isn't that the same with people? When we choose kindness, we turn fear into trust. In Borneo, a baby orangutan clung to its dead mother, killed when their forest was destroyed. Alone, terrified, it refused to let go of her lifeless body. Rescuers brought it to a sanctuary, cradled it in blankets, fed it like a human child. Night after night, someone sat beside it, whispering, never leaving it alone. Slowly, it learned to play again. Years later, it swung from trees, strong and free. Rescuers don't just save lives, they restore futures. Africa, a young rhino, horn hacked off, bleeding in the dirt. Rescuers rushed in, sedating it, stopping the bleeding. It survived, scarred but alive. Here's the lesson. We may not regain what we've lost, but survival itself can be victory. A polar bear, starving, stranded on melting ice. Rescuers dropped food and guided it to safer ice floes. But the truth is harsh. The ice is disappearing faster than help can arrive. And yet they keep going. Because if they gave up, hope itself would vanish. And maybe that's the message for us. We can't control everything, but we can control what we fight for. After a hurricane, a dog was stranded on a rooftop for days. Rescuers waded through chest-deep water to reach it. When they lifted the dog into the boat, its eyes softened, as if realizing it was safe. Sometimes, hope waits on the thinnest rooftop, holding out for someone brave enough to come. In Australia, a koala clung to a burning tree, fur singed, paws blistered. Wrapped in a wet blanket carried through flames, it survived. Weeks later, healed, it returned to the wild. The lesson: compassion doesn't stop the fire, but it gives survivors a chance to heal. In a war-torn city, amid rubble and gunfire, rescuers carried out a crying cat. They risked their lives, crossing checkpoints, to bring one small creature to safety. Even in chaos, kindness can still cross battle lines. A cow clung to floating debris after a tsunami. Rescuers fought hours to pull it ashore. For villagers who had lost everything, its survival was hope itself. Sometimes survival is the miracle. But not every story ends in victory. Rescuers lose animals, they burn out, they cry, they carry invisible scars. Yet they return day after day, because to them, one saved life outweighs 100 failures. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about rising again, even when it hurts. Across oceans, forests, disaster zones, and war zones, rescuers prove a truth. They are ordinary people who choose extraordinary compassion. And so can we. Imagine if we all lived like rescuers, choosing courage over fear, hope over despair, kindness over indifference. The world would be unrecognizable, better, brighter. The secret life of rescuers isn't about them. It's about us, about what humanity can be at its very best. And perhaps the greatest rescue of all is the one that happens inside us when we choose to care.
If you find the story helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment below.